Hey, y'all. This is Micha Burgess. I am a birth doula in Waco, Texas, and you are listening to Game Day Births Not Balls. I am so excited. I have been anticipating this particular episode for quite some time because I finally get to announce my new Waco Dula Team and our new look and how the on-call rotation has changed a little bit. So we got a lot to talk about. But first, say hey. Hey. Isn't that amazing? I'm like smiling from ear to ear right now because I am super, super excited. So first things first, I'm going to have my new doulas that are joining the team, ready to serve, already on call. I want them to introduce themselves and tell a little bit about themselves so y'all can get to know them. Rachel, go for it.
Oh my gosh. Hi, everybody. My name is Rachel, and I am a mother and a wife to a beautiful little 7-year-old boy. And my husband is amazing. We've been married for almost 10 years. Yeah. And let's see, I just do a few things. I am a stay-at-home mom. I own my own baking business because I'm a pastry chef, and so I do that on the side. And I recently joined the Waco Dula Team, which I'm so excited about.
Me too.
Yeah, I just am so excited to be a doula. I had Micha as my doula 7 years ago with my son, and it was just the absolute best experience, hands down. Wouldn't have changed anything about it. And I have kept in contact with her all these years and have always told her, oh my gosh, I would just love to be a doula one day. And, you know, I just love mothers and birth and pregnancy and just everything that surrounds it.
It is time. It is time. Okay, good. Hope.
Hey, I'm Hope Musta Kim. I am also a mother to 2 incredible kids. I work at a law firm. My background's social work. I have a master's in social work from good old Baylor. Graduated twice from there. Hey, sick 'em bears. What else? I do a lot of community activism, and I also had doulas for both of my births, and it was an empowering experience. And I want every mom to have access to that if they so choose. You know, my goal, as well as I'm sure all these ladies here, is just for folks to have a safe, empowering, and peaceful birthing experience, no matter where you birth or how you birth. So. Besides that, I'm like, what else do I do? This means a lot to me because of the disparities in birth outcomes and just wanting women to walk around feeling powerful and not feeling traumatized, you know? So it very much aligns with everything else I do. It intersects with it, I'd say. And so, yeah, it's a peaceful thing for me. A lot of my work is very confrontational, but being a doula, it just allows me to be really centered and grounded and be in my body and not so much in my head. And so, yeah, and just being intuitive and then listening to the woman's body and like just operating in that channel gives me as much as it gives them. So. I think that's it.
Oh, for sure. That's so true. It's very rewarding.
It is.
Yeah, you definitely, it's not a withdrawal. It is a deposit for sure.
No matter if you stay up all night or not.
It doesn't matter.
Doesn't matter.
Yeah, it's so fulfilling. I'm glad you brought that up. Yeah, you should feel like Superwoman after you gave birth, yo. If you don't, something's wrong. Yeah. You should feel like Superwoman. Okay, Miss Lauren.
Hi, my name is Lauren. I live in Waco with my husband and my cute little daughter, Lennon. She's like a year and a half. And we have lived here for a couple years, originally from California. We have a couple of small businesses. My husband's a builder. I have a health and wellness business. And now becoming a doula, which is crazy because I was just thinking about, as everyone was talking, I always, since I was maybe in high school, I always knew I was really good at kind of crisis responses or like emergency responses, but nothing ever seemed to fit just right. Like, you know, being a nurse or being a paramedic or something like that. And, you know, I thought maybe overseas something, but after I gave birth to my daughter, it was life-changing. And I don't say that flippantly. It truly changed my life. I like truly stepped into my power and my strength, and I was a different person after.
Yes.
And something just settled in me, and my experience with Micha and how amazing and influential she was for me. I think knowing those two things, I was like, oh my gosh, I think this is what God has for me. Like, this is the most empowering thing I've ever done. So it is an honor, to get to like be with people doing that
Right.
when I had my own crazy, powerful experience. And so, so now I'm a doula.
Yes, you are, girl. Awesome. Okay, many of you already know Christine Mcelroy, who has been with me for a couple of years, and I definitely want y'all to get to know her a little bit. So take it away, girl.
Hey, my name is Christine, and I've been with Waco Doula, 2 years, and I live in Waco with my husband and 3 kids. I stay at home with my 3-year-old most of the time, and I became a doula because I had Micha with me for my second birth, not my first, unfortunately. And it was the same kind of experience, just super empowering, and you come out of that like, I am woman, hear me roar.
Yeah.
And
Yes.
I actually didn't think much about being a doula until after my third. My sister gave me the opportunity to be at her birth, and she was scared. She was young, and she said, well, you've had 3 kids, 3 different ways. And I was like, yeah. So I actually texted Micha, and somehow she threw together and encapsulated some nuggets of wisdom about, supporting a woman in labor. And I took those and my instincts and went into that birth, and it was my longest birth to date. 27 hours.
Wow.
Lord.
Yeah.
That's because she's your sister.
But right. Yeah. But I came out of it, like you said, just flying high.
Yeah.
I mean, it just gave me this fulfilling purpose.
Yep.
So I really enjoy it. There's just something about watching a woman find her power in the birthing room. And once you see her find that place mentally and get there, and she resolves to grit it out, and it's incredible. And sometimes all I do is hold that space for her. We as doulas, that's what we do, is we hold that space, like Hope said, make it safe for her to go into that primal place where they find their rhythm. And sometimes it's just us doing that. We're not necessarily coaching all the time.
No.
Although I can see why coaches do what they do as coaching, because once you see your athlete
Yes.
dig deep
Yes.
and
So
meet
true.
her goal, it's, oh man, there's
Yeah.
nothing like it.
Yeah, I think I actually gave that analogy maybe on the podcast.
Yeah.
About how, if you think about an athletic coach, they don't go in the game and play. They're not doing it. Guess what? We can't birth for y'all. Sorry. You have to do the work. So what we have to figure out how to do is to give you those tools, to give you that confidence, to give you the mental support and hold that space for you, protect that space for you so that you can pull off this amazing journey of childbirth. And so, it's absolutely empowering.
I love how everybody was like, they talked about their own empowering experience, but like we never even spoke about like how or where we had our children. And I'm like, that's the point, right? It's like
absolutely.
that, because I think some people think of doulas and they're like, oh, you're just for women who want unmedicated vaginal at home.
Right.
And I'm like, no, we're here to coach like the headspace, and whatever that you feel empowered no matter what your decision ends up being, and that you did the best thing for you and baby. And as long as they're here with you, it's like you can see women walk away not feeling traumatized at all, even from an unplanned C-section, but because they felt empowered the whole time. They knew what was going on. They had a voice. They had an understanding. It's just like people need to understand that like doulas are there for you, even if you're not going to do this super crunchy type birth.
So good.
We all need it. It's like running a freaking marathon.
Yeah,
You need a
absolutely.
coach.
It's really important, I think, for people to know that we don't have an agenda.
No.
Like, your agenda as the birthing person is our agenda.
Right.
So whether that
Absolutely.
includes epidural, birth center, hospital birth, whatever,
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it's your show.
That's
Yep.
exactly right.
We're just here to cheer you on.
It's like hiring a personal trainer.
yeah.
Yeah.
It's like, what are your goals?
What are your goals?
That's right.
That's my
Yeah.
goal too.
That's right. That's right.
Hope what you had said about the unscheduled C-section. That's what I had. I went into my birth being super crunchy. I wanted no medication. I didn't even want anybody to say that word. I wanted everything natural, and it just didn't go that way. I tried as hard as I could, and Micha supported me through every last second. And then I was like, I'm ready for a C-section.
Yep.
And it was just like, okay.
Yep. Sometimes that is your digging deep, is like digging
Absolutely.
deep for the courage to make that choice and
Yeah.
let go of all your expectations.
And wasn't your husband not even home yet?
Yeah, he was
Which
in
is-
Africa.
So crazy that you
Whoa.
still felt like free and supported
Oh
and
my
resolved.
gosh. Yes.
Wow.
That's so
Like I
amazing.
said, I would not have changed anything. I still would not change anything to this day.
You would have left him in Africa.
Yes.
You're like, yeah,
Yeah,
actually.
It went really well.
Sorry, honey, I love you.
And that is the power, you guys, of a support person. And we want everyone to feel supported. And if you have access, if you're listening and you're not in our Waco area, that's okay. If you have access to a support person, a doula, look into this. Find out what your area offers.
Yes.
Look into this. And if you don't have access to a doula, then get some of these resources of where you can find out and learn a little bit more about support and what are your options, and read some of these books and listen to this podcast and find a loved one. Hey, I need you to get a little bit more well-versed, if possible, to help me in this time. And so we want everybody to feel supported. Like I said earlier, we want you to feel like Superwoman, and it does not matter how you ended up having your baby. Yeah, it's good to have a game plan. All of us had a game plan when we walked into what we wanted and what we wanted to achieve. And so I think, yes, while we do support physically, another component of what we do that I think is probably even more important, that is that mental and emotional support. And I think as I look at these women in this room, that's probably what you guys are all talking about is, yeah, that was great.
Yeah.
The back massage was awesome. Thank
Yeah.
you. And yeah, you gave me the right position, or the duck walk to help baby come down. I appreciate that. You know,
Or not.
or not. But I hate you. I sat on the potty for 3 contractions. Okay, so yes, the physical support is absolutely there, you know? And that nurturing is what I think a lot of people do think of when they hear the word doula.
Right.
But it is so much more than that. It is that mental and emotional support that is so key. Christine, talk a little bit about your third birth experience so people get an idea of how it started and where we ended up.
Oh, sure.
Oh, sure.
We're going to go there, huh?
Yep.
All right. So, like I said, I hired Micha for my second birth, which was unmedicated, went beautifully. But my third birth, you know, everybody says those third babies, they come more quickly and they're easier and they just basically fall out. Well, not
every time.
So I hired Micha and she was with me. I actually went in for an induction, just a gentle induction is what we call it, just a little bump of Pitocin to get things going, and then my body picked up, and I think we turned it off, and then I kind of stalled out.
Wait,
and-
we were dancing.
Oh, we were dancing.
We were
I've seen those
dancing.
videos.
Those were in the golden hours when I was like, oh, everything's groovy.
great.
Oh, we were.
It
We
was
got
so
up
fun.
and we did our, it's a little sassier version of Zumba.
Yeah,
Basically.
I agree.
So if you haven't seen the video, you'll have to go to Waco Doula's Facebook or Insta and see me in all my
It's wonderful. She
humongous
is
glory.
fabulous.
Oh, just a lot.
Just
But
Just a lot.
so all of a sudden, my baby's heart rate just dropped. It was what they call emergent, and they had to wheel me back. My husband had no idea what was going on. I mean, they literally flipped me over and didn't tell me or anybody what was going on. They just drove me right back to the ER. But the last thing I remember hearing as this was all happening, I remember Micha's voice, and it was in my ear, and she was just telling me, breathe in, baby needs your oxygen, breathe in through your nose, breathe in through your nose. And I was able to hold on to that because I had no idea what was happening. And I held on to that because it was the only thing I could control. So when I was in the OR having transitional contractions with some Pitocin, because by that point they turned it back on, no epidural,
Wow.
bright lights of the OR and people all around me. And I think I had a nurse rubbing my hand, but you know, she was also trying to multitask, do her
Right.
job. All I could think was breathe in, Christine, breathe in, baby needs your oxygen. And so that got me through. And so I had my C-section. But there was a point when the doctor said, okay, baby's stable. We could go back and labor some more. At this point, I've been laboring for 12 hours.
Oh my gosh.
Or we can go ahead and do the surgery. And, you know, that was one of those things. Like, I just had to decide and say, my instinct is telling me that I need to just get this baby
Good
out.
for you. Yeah.
And I did, and thankfully I did. He had a double nuchal cord, and he was,
man.
it was choking him, which is why his heart
Yeah.
rate was dropping
Right.
Yeah.
every
Right.
time.
It was cutting the oxygen off.
It
in his
could not
cord.
descend because it was choking.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
I
So-
love that you followed your instinct. That's
Yes.
so amazing.
That's the whole point.
Mm-hmm.
So, but I don't have regrets about it. You know,
Yeah.
that's a good point, is I knew my options the whole time.
Yes.
I knew what I could control. I knew what I couldn't control.
Yeah.
And I was open to that change. And I think it made all the difference,
Absolutely.
Yeah.
having that support throughout the whole thing. Micah, my providers, my husband, you know, just knowing that I had that support was a game
Yeah.
changer.
Think
But
of-
yeah, it was,
Wow.
it could have been very traumatic.
Oh,
And my
yeah.
friends, because my friends knew that I'd had unmedicated with my second, and I was going for that with my third, so many people were worried about me, and my midwife too.
Yeah.
Afterwards, she's like, "Are you okay? You know, like,
Mhm.
are you gonna get depressed?" And I was like, "No, really, I'm fine."
Wow.
You
Yeah.
know,
I love that.
and to this day, I have not had any regrets
Yeah.
because I know there's nothing
That's
there's
amazing.
nothing I could have done differently.
Yeah, I really think that having a support person at your birth, and if it can be a doula, that's ideal. Our clients really don't deal with a lot of the postpartum depression, including people like Christine or Rachel who ended up having a C-section. Why? Because they don't feel like their options and their choices were taken from them. They don't feel like somebody did something to them or robbed them. They don't feel like their body failed them, which is a huge thing
Right.
when women have C-sections. Oh my gosh, what's wrong with me?
Yeah.
Nothing.
Yeah,
Nothing's
it's
wrong
the whole
with
idea
you.
of something happening to you
Right.
instead of
Yeah.
like something happening with like it's with like
Yeah.
you're like, okay, making this choice alongside like my body with me instead of like your body did this to you and your baby or the doctors did this to you.
Right.
But it's like it's collectively, it's collaborative. It's like we're all working together even
Yeah.
if it looks different.
You just don't feel alone. I mean, you just
Right.
you have that absolute pure support. And sometimes women just don't feel like they have that. And having a doula by your side, I mean, it just makes such a difference.
Right, because we're with you guys with our clients on the onset of labor, especially active labor. We encourage our clients to stay at home as long as possible in early labor. And then, you know, we're with you when you're ready, when you need us. And so what happens is when you finally get to that point where now you're in transition or it's time to push or whatever, you've had somebody by your side from the word go that has watched you, that has affirmed you. They know everything about your birth. They know everything that you have thought and felt, every choice that you've made, every concern or fear that you have. And y'all, that is powerful. I mean, that is, yeah. I mean, that's why once you have a doula, you pretty much go, oh yeah, I would not have birth without a doula. And, you know, some of our clients, our first, like it's their first baby, the baby's born and they look at us and go, what do people do without a doula?
Right.
Like, I don't even
Exactly.
understand. How do you do this? You know?
Totally.
Yes.
You know, a lot of people think that they're like, well, there's nurses and there's doctors in the hospital.
They have
Oh,
other stuff
yeah.
going on.
I
Yeah, exactly.
love the nurses that we work with
Oh,
and
yeah.
the
Yeah.
doctors and midwives, but they are busy,
Yeah.
especially during these COVID times. You know, they have a lot going on,
Yeah.
Yeah.
and sometimes they are just doing their best to keep up
Yeah.
with paperwork, monitor their other patients too. So
Yeah.
they can't sit in the room all the time
Right.
and watch you like we do, stare at you, see how you're handling. Okay, did we have a hard time with that contraction? Okay, let's see what we can change up. You know, it's not possible.
Yeah.
Right.
You're right. We're literally watching every contraction.
Oh yeah.
It's insane. Like when
Yeah.
you just said that, because I had a few friends who let me in on their births too. And I just remember like it's so intricate because every contraction like means something. It's like Morse code or something. It's like you can tell how they breathed, how their body moved, or just everything, even baby's heart rate. It's cool. It's like a code that you get to crack.
Exactly. That's so true. That's so true. And all of us in this room have kids, so we've all experienced birth, and so that's also a huge win. You know,
Yeah.
I mean, you might occasionally get a nurse that hasn't had a baby before, and that's okay. That doesn't mean she can't do her job,
Right.
but she may not be able to relate as well as someone who has given birth before.
Right.
Whether it was, you know, look, we're not about perfect. We are about a positive experience, and that's not the fake, the smile on your face.
Right.
Everything is just so grand and
Yeah.
positive and no. That's not the kind of positive we're talking about. We're talking about you were informed. You know what's happening. You have the power of choice no matter what you choose. You were not alone. There was someone affirming you, singing your praises, telling you how amazing you are, giving you good feedback or a game plan. That's a positive experience. Not perfect. You may have had things that happened in your birth that you would not have chosen. But because it was a positive experience, you look back on it and you go, man.
Yeah.
Birth of my child. Yeah, your baby is born. Your baby is here. You gave birth regardless of the method or how that happened, you know?
You can
Well, I was
check up on
thinking
you.
about that with doulas. It's like they're the only ones in that role. Like there's no one that has that viewpoint.
Right.
The nurses, the doctors, different viewpoint. The husband, completely different role, different
Yes.
viewpoint.
Oh, yeah.
So this doula has seen you from beginning to end, and then so they have this whole other stance of being able to help you process afterwards,
Right.
and processing whether it's like a beautiful trauma. You had a baby, that's beautiful. It's not like you got in a car accident,
Right.
but it's still a trauma, and there's still things to process in your brain to sort out, okay, this happened and then this happened and then this happened and what am I grateful for? And
what does this mean?
I think that was one of the most impactful parts of having you as my doula was being, I mean, I talk about this all the time with you, but being able to process it afterward and come to an understanding and resolve and ultimately gratitude.
Yeah.
You don't lose that support. I mean,
Yeah.
I gave birth 7 years ago and I still stayed in contact with you.
Yeah.
I mean, you don't lose that person. And I tell people when I talk about you, I'm like, I'm shocked of all the people that you have supported that you could still stay in contact with me and still know everything about our experience together. And we could still talk about that. I mean, that was so meaningful to me. That, I mean, I'll hold that forever.
Right.
And I want our future clients to feel the same way
Right.
about their doulas.
Yeah. And I am, hear me say, 100% confident in this team right here that we have in Waco. And a couple of things that have shifted and changed that I want to make sure we cover. So we are expanding. We have another 2 doulas that actually live in the Temple, Belton, Killeen area. They will be serving clients there. It's been difficult for us to travel and to take on clients in that area, but we are ready now. And so on another podcast, I will be introducing the 2 of them. So we are expanding, which is super exciting. And in the past, so several years ago when I started the on-call team, I looked it up and there was no blueprint for this. Nobody was doing it. So I've just kind of had to wing it and figure it out as I go. So initially what would happen is when a client looked into hiring the Waco Dula team, you hire the whole team. And that has ranged from 2 doulas to 5 doulas. And our clients were having to meet 5 doulas.
Whoa.
Not ideal. Not ideal. Like I said, didn't know what I was doing yet, but
Trial and
we
error.
moved
Yeah.
forward. That's right. Trial and error. And so it has varied. And the reason I did an on-call rotation as opposed to a typical doula agency is because life happens and you don't know when life will change for you suddenly. And I found that to be true. I tried the doula agency first and I found that to be true. Oh, wait, now she's gone. Oh, no, she's pregnant and has to step away. They are moving all of a sudden. And so the on-call rotation means that I can lose a doula or 2, but I still have a team. And now I can train and plug in somebody else. And so that part of it has been really, really great. And love it. I'll never go back to.
I mean, that's how you
so
got
I do.
me.
That's how I
Was
got you.
because like I saw you at Slow Rise, and I was like, oh, I still want to be a doula. And it was like 6 years later, and she's like, well, we're doing this on because I love my job. I love what I do in the community, and so she's like, yeah, you don't have to give that up. Like you can still do this part time. And I was like, the like angels sang and everything. I was like, what? That's so smart. She's like, yeah, if you can just do 1 a month, 2 or 3 a month, and I was like, absolutely, I can do that. I just can't juggle my own business by myself because
Right.
that's what I was thinking was like, if I want to be a doula, I've got to start this whole framework and everything be on call for everyone all the time. And so whenever you offered that alternative, I was like, this
Good.
is perfect for us.
Yeah, and that's a huge reason why I did. I mean, it's a win for me because I have people helping me. It's a win for my doulas because you don't have to be on call 24/7, 3 to 4 weeks for every client. That's a tough gig. I remember. And it's a win for our clients because now you've got this beautiful team of women supporting you and you have the opportunity to meet them. We have a client class that they're teaching to you. There is, a postpartum visit and maybe even extra support that Christine has available. Make sure you look into that if you discover you need extra postpartum support if you're a client of ours. But then again, still trying to tweak, okay, for our clients, what makes sense. And so Christine can testify when there were 4 of us, 5 of us at one time, and our clients are meeting all of us. Well, guess what? You're also caring for all 30 to 40 clients within that year. That's not easy. So, aha moment. I love aha moments. Brilliance hit me. I have no idea why I thought of this, but I'm so thankful I did. These 4 doulas are now split up into 2 teams of 2. Bum, bum, bum. Christine and Lauren are on a team, and Hope and Rachel are on a team. And you guys, oh my gosh, I'm so excited. So the way it works now is when I interview with potential clients, they decide they want to hire a Waco doula, I assign them to one of the teams. So now you only have to get to know 2 doulas, way more doable. And my doulas have a smaller group of clients that they're having to take care of instead of every single client. And so, golly, doesn't that make so much more sense? I mean, y'all, why didn't I think of that sooner? But here we are. It's our new, like I said, we got a new look coming out. Check out our new website. We're super excited about that. Y'all, we've been together several times now as a group. We just have way too much fun.
Never too
much fun. We get along. We love to share experiences with each other. We're all very different and unique, but our similarities bond us together and that we are really serious and totally dedicated to empowering women to do this thing called birth. And
I'd even say one thing that's also an asset, because even just talking to a few women is like they worry, because this is what we do as women. They worry about their husbands. And they're worried about how scared they are and how they're going to freak out. So more of their brain space is being used, being like, I'm just not sure how he's going to handle it. And he's going to feel this and this. So a lot of what we do is help husbands feel safe and like their wife is safe or their partner's safe and that they're going to know what to do in the moment, because we don't like to take over and push the partner to the side and we want to tell them how to support you, even if it's your mom, your husband, whoever, but we want them to be the star of the show, like but them to be able to come in and comfort you and stuff, so you feel like it's a bonding experience for you too. But if husbands out there, partners having any anxieties, I think having a doula just does wonders, because they are like, okay, we can do this.
My husband basically hired Micha the second time because I was like, I don't know if we got the finances and all this, and he's like, okay, you're telling me we can either go to a childbirth class in Salado or just hire Micha? And I was like, yeah. He's like, okay, hire Micha. And I think a lot of men come out of it empowered too, in a way, because it's something I like to talk to clients. We like to talk to clients about. Like a client class, how involved does your partner want to be? Because, men have many, many great attributes, but birthing room is not always their wheelhouse, right?
We see him fainting.
Glory.
I'm like, okay, how involved does he want to be? Does he want to be snoring on the couch? Does he need to work? Does he want, to trade out with me? We can tag team it. Or does he want to be all hands on and I just tell him how to support you?
Right.
And a lot of times that's what it is they want to help. They just don't know exactly how.
And it can be a disempowering experience for them if they see you in pain and everything, and they're like, I don't know. And sometimes that creates like a relationship trauma where women
I've done
can
marriage counseling at a postpartum visit before.
where it's like, you weren't there for me, you didn't help, and he's like, I didn't know it. So we are also saving marriages out here.
Well, and it's beneficial in the labor process physiologically. Your partner is going to elicit the most powerful oxytocin response, or just as powerful as your natural releases. So anyways, I always say if we can get that bonding time with the husband, like, if I tell clients, I'm like, if I disappear when y'all are in the bathroom together, it's because I want you to reconnect. I want you to bond. I want you to be in there holding each other and maybe get up and go slow dance. And I'm just going to like melt into the wall.
Be a fly on the wall.
And it works so much of the time. All of a sudden, things are happening.
Oh, yeah. Absolutely.
Because she feels safe, right?
Yep.
Mammals, they cannot go and progress through labor if they don't feel safe. They don't have darkness and privacy.
Absolutely.
I love that.
So true. You know, one of the things that I have really enjoyed about expanding my team and bringing people on is that as a mentor, I kind of feel like I'm doing the same thing. Like I am your doula mentor. Like you're wanting to be supported in this way to move forward and doing something that you love and that you believe is a part of your life and your calling. And so, you know, that is one thing that has shifted. I mean, life has shifted for everyone because of COVID, right? And it definitely shifted for us as doulas. Thankfully, at least in our area, we were let back in to the hospitals, birthing rooms, all of that pretty quickly. What I was able to do before COVID was actually get my apprentices into the hospital room with me so they could watch me work. I can get them involved. That is not going to work. Okay. I got to shift now. I got to keep up with the times and how things look different. And so the apprenticeship shifted to more of a mentorship. And so I've been able with this group right here, and I want you guys to speak to having a mentor here in just a second, but I was able to train them and use clients' videos and birth videos with their permission, of course. And now we're like literally sitting beside each other, watching this baby be born, listening to this mom go through labor, and they're getting to ask the questions right then and there. I'm helping them see what I see and to experience and know what to say and how to help.
I think I would say initially, of course, we're like, oh, that's a bummer. Like we want to get into births. Like we want to see it in action. But I wouldn't even say it was like a less than experience. I just feel like it was a different facet of the same gem, of the same thing, because now we're getting to like all sit around together. We have multiple people, we have time, we have space, and we're kind of evaluating, connecting from different people's perspectives of a birth we're watching on video, and we're kind of breaking it apart and talking about what we're noticing. And, oh, you picked up on that. Okay, I didn't. Now that's a good thing to keep in mind. And we're all learning from each other. And, you know, when you're in a birth room, it's just things are happening. You don't have a lot of time to be like, hey, Michael, one moment. I just have a couple questions.
Why did you choose to do that specifically
Right.
And there's so much psychology behind doing things in a team and a group oriented environment. There's like a far more, I feel like you just intake things better. You hold on to information further because you have all of this kind of mutual encouragement. You're walking alongside people. We all really like to be together.
The acting was fun.
Oh my gosh.
I mean,
we did some role playing.
Like role playing.
And so I created these birth scenarios that you could potentially see in the birthing room. Maybe it's a midwife, maybe you're in the hospital, maybe they were induced, maybe whatever, maybe it's an emergency situation. So I read this out. One of them role plays and is the pregnant, laboring mama, and then the other one is the doula. And so, that was
so
lot of fun.
There was a lot of nerves before it all started.
Yes.
We did the thing at my house, and I have to say my chair will never be the
no. And your pillow.
And my pillow. It just getting to see y'all in action of what you are going to be doing with women. It's amazing. We're going to do great.
And honestly, you know, I think that our role first and foremost is mostly about relating and connecting.
Yeah.
It's a very vulnerable spot. Position that these women are in. And so for us to be able to connect with them and just by observing them, be able to see, okay, we need a conversation. I think I lost her mentally. Okay. All right, girl, where's your head at?
Yeah.
Let me help you. Let me help, you know? And so that's to me high on the list. And so I definitely handpick the team because I can't teach that. I can't teach women to be good at connecting with others and relating well to others and fostering relationships. I can't teach that. And so thankfully that is top priority and everyone on my team has that natural ability, loves to do that and wants to do that, wants to give of their time. They are excited to hear their phone ring at 3 a.m.
Yes.
to go to a birth, And so we know we're weird. That's
Christmas.
okay.
Santa's here.
We know we're weird. We love it. We love it all. All right. Any final thoughts from anybody before we shut it down?
I'll say that right when you were talking about the last thing, because it's vulnerable, right? And you're exposed in all the different ways. And you might be like, why would I want a stranger in the room with me while all my goodies are out? And I'll say that all of us are people that, for one, we're very like transparent and open, and we're not stiff. And like, you naturally feel comfortable in front of us because we let it all hang out. Like, we are who we are. And so when you feel like someone else is very open and transparent, and they accept themselves and they're not hiding anything and they're not being pretentious and they're not being perfect, then you feel more liberated that you can also be very vulnerable and whatever. So you're not going to be hiring a team of people who know it all or who act like they know it all or who have everything perfect. We're going to tell you the truth about our own experiences, our own life, and you're going to feel really comfortable, even though it's going to be like Insta friends.
Yes.
Absolutely. Who else?
I just have to say that through the mentorship program with you, it's just been such a joy, and I definitely could not have learned the things that you have taught us, the experience with all these beautiful women that just became instant friends, and it's just been great. I learned so much, and I'm still learning, and I just love sharing all the information and loving the fact that we get to support women in their most vulnerable, time of their life, and knowing everything that we know. And my whole thing is, I love that women are feeling more empowered to ask the questions along with their husbands, partners, their friends, their family. I have so many people who aren't having a baby or just aren't in that season of life and still asking, well, what is a doula? What do you do? And then by the end of saying it all, they're like, wow, I know so many people who would have needed a doula, or I wished I would have had a doula when I was having kids, because we just had, this and that didn't work. And I'm like, yes, I'm so excited about it. It's just going to be so amazing, and every woman deserves this.
Yeah, I agree. For sure. I agree.
Women have been supporting women in birth since ancient times.
Absolutely.
And somewhere along the way, 20th century actually.
To be
that's an interesting story if we want to go into that one on a different podcast. In modern healthcare, we've lost that, and we're just trying to keep the tradition alive. We are not meant to birth alone. We're not meant to birth in a place where we don't feel safe and supported. So we're very passionate about continuing that.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Oh, yeah. There were doulas way before there were doctors. They weren't called
it's
doulas.
It's like the woman servant, right? Is that what doula translates to?
It absolutely means servant. Yeah. That's what we do. We serve.
Oh, that's beautiful.
Isn't that cool? This has been so much fun. I enjoy these women so much. I trust them completely. Waco Doula. We just got a big upgrade. I'm so happy. We're excited to say that, it's just mid-January when we recorded this episode. It's just mid-January, and we already have a third of our doula spots filled up from what we had all of last year. That's a big deal. That's exciting. What that means, it means a couple things. One, we are going to be able to serve more women. That is huge, thrilling to me. We are going to be able to serve more women. So that's great. It also means that because of the way that we're doing this, and I'm assigning you guys to a team, if you're wanting to hire Waco Doula, don't wait. In the past, I've been like, whatever, it's up to you when you want to hire. I'm going to encourage you to do that sooner rather than later. At least reach out, have that free consultation, and see if this is a good fit for you, because the slots are filling up quickly. Okay. Yes. And so we want to give plenty of time for you to get that information that we want you to have, to be doing some of the things that we believe you can be doing on this side of labor to make labor easier once you go into labor. Isn't that amazing? And to give these doulas plenty of time to get their calendar, their schedules all lined up, knowing who their clients are, and to start taking care of you guys ASAP. Thank y'all for being here.
Thank you.
I really appreciate it. And I love every single one of you. And so we are excited to serve our Waco local area and soon to be Temple, Belton, Killeen area as well. We will get Melissa and Julie on here ASAP. Thanks for tuning in to Game Day. You guys have a great day. Hey, thanks for joining me on Game Day, Birds Not Balls. You can follow me on my Instagram page at MyDulaMicha. You can also find me on WacoDula.com, Waco Doulas on Facebook. And if you like what you heard, you can subscribe or you can find us on RogueMediaNetwork.com. Thanks for joining us.
This has been a Rogue Media podcast.